Welcome everyone to After Hours at Trader's Post for January 9th, 2026. I'm one of your hosts, Tom Hartman, marketing manager here at Trader's Post, joined by Peter, exit Liquidity Hartman, to break down the market madness. After Hours is your go-to live stream focus on macro trends for retail traders. That's dollar, equities, policy, and a bunch of those little crumb news that are super interesting for every retail trader. After Hours is brought to you today by Blue Sky, the best in class prop firm that offers same day activation, daily payouts, and no max restrictions. But we'll tell you more about them later. First, let's hit on the story that matters the most, Peter. It's the thing that's on everyone's minds. It's the thing that's on everyone's lips and on their hearts. And that's the ECB ruling out Bitcoin as part of the Bitcoin reserves. I know. Everyone's been talking about it. Christine Lagarde came out and said as much. And what are we going to do about that, Peter? What are we going to do? We were counting on Europe buying Bitcoin in droves in order to drive the Bitcoin price higher.
So
And it's
what, they're not
not
going to do it?
happening.
No?
Not happening.
Why would
Oh.
Europe want Bitcoin? I don't understand. Why would Europe? Actually, before we do that, Adventure Trader, good to see you here. Oh my God, work sucks so bad right now. Glad to hear you guys. I'm sorry your work sucks, but I'm very happy that you're here. What's going on there? If you need someone whacked, I know a guy. All right, I know a guy. I know a guy who knows a guy. He fixes things. Tom, yeah, I don't understand why Europe would want to go on crypto. Like, don't they like total control over there?
Peter. If I can quote the great Sailor Kaiser, all right? What it is you have to think of it in this term. Bitcoin,
Yeah.
energy volatility, turns into game theory. Countries buy Bitcoin to the moon. New currency reserve system, money for all holders. That's all you need to know.
And the downfall of those on top.
I'm not
Except,
sure about
except
that.
Michael Saylor. Except Michael Saylor.
I'm not
Well,
sure
I mean,
about
Michael
that. I
Saylor
mean,
fixed. Max Kaiser was that. Michael Saylor made it so that the elites could get it. But before Michael Saylor got in the game, Max Kaiser was really about the elites go down, I think. Pretty sure.
well, what's going to happen about the top? We're going to have Michael Saylor is going to be running for president in 2028. I know it seems too soon, right? It seems more of a 2032 sort of situation. But Michael Saylor, he knows he's got to do his preemptive bid now, and then after that, get the real bid later on. So when he is president, then the whole Bitcoin regime will make sense. See, he's going to do that over there, and I think Max Kaiser, what is he in Ecuador? He's going to be in Ecuador, and then we're going to have all the Bitcoin people are going to, in a very WAF Klaus Schwab sort of way, take over all the lead positions in the world, and then Bitcoin will be the main.
Sounds
thing.
like you're listening to too much Candace Owens.
Get the Polymarket bet market up. I'm ready to put all my money on yes. It's going to be at 10,000 to 1 odds. I'll take it. No, Bitcoin's not the big story this week, Peter. The big
No,
story
it's
this
not.
week, the big story that was supposed to be there this week was
Trump.
that the Trump
Tariffs. Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court is supposed to rule on whether the tariffs are going to be illegal or not. Yes.
Yeah. You got it out.
Yeah. And we're all waiting for that result at 10 a.m. today. And you know what happened at 10 a.m. sharp? Nothing. A big nothing burger. Zero Hedge reports that it'll be delayed, and who knows when we're going to get it. I wish they treated these Trump decisions the way that the Fed treats their data drops. All right. Okay. When the Fed drops an album, they get it out there. No, but when the U.S. Supreme Court does it, it's like waiting for a little Dicky album. I don't like it.
Do you think someone sat next to the Supreme Court judges on a park bench and were like, look, it'd be a shame if anything came out today. That would be really bad. Nice dog you got there.
Well, at least see, Peter, I expect now that I hear about Polymarket and Kalshi and all of that on the lips of even CNBC people, even people on the news and all that, I'm expecting that, I'm taking a little bit of kickback, right? There's all laws around it right now. You can get your money just by going, hey, I know what the odds are going to be over here. Let me say a few things in order to get the odds to move in one direction.
Right.
And then I know what the real things would come out there. So I was expecting to see stuff in the Polymarket space that's preemptively showing that the decisions are going to come out. Right. No, we didn't have any of that. I can't believe that none of these people are taking it. Peter, I guess it turns out that if you have a job for life, on the U.S. Supreme Court, you're not very interested in leaking out any information.
Why is it that people thought it was going to be today?
That's what it was like said on
Oh,
Twitter.
it's like rumors. Okay, there was nothing, announcement from Super. Anyway, I was monitoring a lot of streams, including Price Action Live today, and I think everybody was expecting it to come out. I was on Twitter, on X, and everybody was expecting it to come out. And the fact that it didn't come out, even Donald Trump tweeted right something about, I hope they make the right decision. I feel like, look, I'm not going to put on my tinfoil hat here, but I feel like something was supposed to come out and then it didn't. But you're saying that you didn't see the forward guidance in Polymarket. I'm going to be calling it that from now on because clearly there's forward guidance in Polymarket.
No,
You can you can tell the future because all the insiders are on there. Casino Royale style.
no, Peter, you're such a stupid idiot. Forward guidance is when they're trying to actually change what the outcome will be by saying, "Hey, this is how we're pricing things in the future." It wasn't forward guidance. It's like the options. It's like the options market for real world events. That's what I like about it.
No, what I mean by
Options.
forward guidance is that we understand now that it seems like people in the know go into Polymarket
No, no,
to
no, no,
in
no,
order
no,
to
no.
get money.
I know what you think you mean.
So if it goes in one,
Up, up, up. Forward guidance is when the Fed is saying what they might do in the future, so that we behave now as if that's true. They're trying to make
no,
our
that's
decision
one
now.
type of forward
That's not
guidance.
no.
That's another type of forward guidance. It's like a poly forward guidance. That's not
It's like
really
talking about
one-to-one.
liquidity. You talk to people about liquidity and they go, "Oh, liquidity is the ability to buy an asset without moving the price." Yeah, yeah. I'm talking about global dollar liquidity and the flow of
Same
funds
thing for
around. Never mind.
inflation. People don't know what
Never mind.
inflation is either. Okay, so the Supreme Court didn't rule, or at least we didn't get the opinion. And the markets, did they react?
Well, they reacted in the way that I would expect, where if there is no news, what do we get? We get drifting up and to the right. Guys, all-time highs will continue until morale improves. And we have the S&P here. Did it touch all-time highs today? What was the high today? The high today was 7,1750, and the all-time high before was 17,000. Yeah, so we hit all-time highs today on the S&P. All right? Guys, the stock market is sloped to the top right, okay? Sloped to the upside. I wish I understood this, Peter, before. I wish I understood this during COVID. I wish I understood this during.
Well, understanding this beforehand,
markets will go up unless
yeah.
there's any news that says it shouldn't.
How would your life have been different had you known this before? Like, really? Come on. What difference does it actually make in your life?
Well, I wouldn't have been at the lows of COVID when the markets dropped precipitously, shorting with everything that I had. Thinking to myself, it doesn't make any sense. They're locking down the world. There's a global pandemic, hasn't happened since 1918. If this is not a bearish event, I don't know what is. And I went full port. And I shorted as the market rallied 200% back up.
Tuition to the market. You paid it. You learned.
I mean, I thought I knew what a dead cat bounce was. Turns out you get some zombie cats out there. Some of these cats, they come right back to life.
Okay,
if
so you
do a
learned.
dead cat bounce, you got to make sure that it's on its ninth life. There we go. We found it. We got to make sure that's the ninth life that it fell.
So you told me, and this is what you were saying here today, don't bet against the institutions, right? Don't bet against the stock market going up. There's no way they're going to allow the stock market to go down. Do you think that's going to be true even if the Supreme Court rules the tariffs are illegal?
No. Stock market can definitely go down. I'm saying in the absence of news, in the absence of negative news.
I see.
That's bullish. That's
well, I mean, long term, it'll go up long term.
Even short term. Just take yourself out of it. Take retail traders out of it. We mean nothing. We're nothing. We're exit liquidity. All right. You have the Venn diagram of people who own all the assets or are trading all the assets, right? In large amounts, billions of dollars. And then you have the Venn diagram of people who make policy and make the decisions as to what actually happens to support the markets. And that Venn diagram is, let's call it, pretty much a full eclipse. It's pretty on there. And you are over here. And you're like, I'm going to short. Yeah, that's very cute.
I see.
We let you guys have your GameStop one time. We've calibrated from there.
You don't think that's
What
ever going to happen again?
Well, what did the architect from Matrix say? He goes, "This will have been the 8th iteration, and we've become exceedingly efficient at it." My life is a series of movies. My life is a series of movies, folks. Markets
Okay.
would go up. I mean, look, we have Venezuela. Bombed? Their leaders taken. We're gonna talk about that in a second. I can't even wrap my head around that. We have instability worldwide. We have inflation that's still high. You know, even though the rate of increase is not the same, prices are still higher. The K-shaped economy, where those who have and those who have not, wider than ever before. Donald Trump, saying he wants to go for a third term. Greenland probably going to be annexed. It's crazy, and yet the S&P is at all-time highs. Who could have seen that coming? That's right. That's right.
Okay, so you look at these charts and you're not surprised.
No, if there's only the chart that there are charts that surprise me, but not the S&P and the Nasdaq. What does surprise me is stuff like Bitcoin, right? We have Bitcoin here at still middle and 90,000. I don't know. Someone called a bear market in Bitcoin. I don't know who it was. Was it this show? Pretty sure I called a bear market in Bitcoin. Yeah, people are sitting there going, I have my call options on Bitcoin. Yeah, the S&P is at all-time highs. Nasdaq is on its way there, and Bitcoin could not be flatter. Could not be flatter. So, hey, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it rallies from over here, but as far as I'm concerned, it is flat to down. But so I am surprised about this. Like, I had expected Bitcoin to be doing, get to 250,000 in the fall and then drop, but it didn't even get up to there. I'm also surprised by silver. Silver is, if we take a look at silver is what we call on a tear. Look at that. Look at that. So, all kinds of things are interesting and moving in markets. Plus, we have this whole thing. We won't go over today, but there's actually a video out from Michael Howell did another interview with Thoughtful Money, and he's talking about the liquidity cycle basically having peaked. Actually, let's take a quick look at that before we move on to the geopolitics of the thing, because I thought it was pretty interesting. Let me pull that up. We'll just play the first part of it. Give me 1 second. And as always, I think you guys should definitely go check out this interview. It is an hour long, very wonky, especially for people who, if you don't have a mind for that. But this is where you find your edge. You go to the most boring, dry, data-driven people, and those are the guys who are going to give you stuff that other people aren't paying attention to. So let's take a quick look.
Can't you just take the video, get the transcript, have AI tell you the key points, and just get on with your life? An hour?
What I like about this is that he provides the slides for the information. So he provides the
Gemini can see slides.
So what? It'll recreate the slides so you can see it?
Recreate the slides. Why do you have to see it? I just need the information. I'm like Seth Godin. He's like reading a book. Look, I just need to read the first, page, chapter, and I got it. The rest of the book is just trying to convince you of their premise.
Okay, so when you're reading Calvin and Hobbes, you just need to read the first panel.
It's not Calvin and Hobbes.
Exactly. Some things are a visual medium, Peter.
For entertainment reasons.
A graph that you see will give you way more information than what can be described by an AI system. Get out of here.
All right. Anti-AI.
That being said, we're not going to see any slides right now. We're just going to hear Michael Howell talk. So let's just hear.
Are you AI phobic? Is that what are you AI phobic? I want to make that a thing. I'm trying to make that a thing.
Can you imagine? All right, let's hear
your latest slides that you kindly prepared for us in just a second, Michael. But as I recall, you have your global liquidity cycles that your firm has identified. And in our previous conversations over the past couple of years, if I remember correctly, you had forecasted the current cycle to kind of peak out at the end of 2025, beginning of 2020.
This is the liquidity cycle, the global liquidity cycle.
Is that still your expectation, or have there been any developments like the Fed kind of returning to QE, even though they're not calling it QE, that might be pushing the duration of the cycle out further?
Yeah, all the evidence seems to show that the liquidity cycle is peaking pretty much around the time we said. I mean, we're still getting data coming in for the end of the year, obviously, but it looks as if the peak in liquidity probably occurred sometime around about Q4, maybe early Q4 or thereabouts. And that's, despite the fact the Federal Reserve, as you said, has kind of moved back to a more benign liquidity posture. They were kind of forced to do that because of the tensions in repo markets. But what the Fed is really doing is basically, doing the sort of minimum necessary, I would say. They're sort of putting a put under the repo markets, and that's probably enough to keep tensions away there. But it's not really enough to keep the bull market in stocks going through the year. And I think the monetary policy the Fed is operating is probably, at best, good enough for a range-bound market this year. It may not be even enough for that, but we'll see. So, our view is that the year is going to be challenging. Liquidity is not the force that it was. Certainly, if you look at the major advanced economies, I think China may be a different story, which we can get into. And, one of the things that we're bringing out very clearly this year is that there is a significant divergence between what's going on in the US liquidity cycle and in the Chinese liquidity cycle. But that's a later story, I think.
Yep, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a peak in the liquidity cycle. Hello, bear market Bitcoin. And we are looking at potentially a range-bound market for the next year. What does that mean? It means it's a trader's market, folks. If you think you're going to buy and hold the indexes and you're going to make money hand over fist, sorry, boomer, not this year. Not this
Okay.
year. All right. If we take a look at one of the charts that he has here, let me just pull it up so you can actually get a sense of what he's saying here. Give me a second there to grab that. But basically, over here, I love this chart, and it shows the average S&P gain each year of a U.S. presidential term from the 1970s to 2024. The first year, there's an average gain of or around 10%. The second year, there's an average gain of 1%. It doesn't mean that year things can go all crazy and volatile, but it means that by the end of the year, the stock market is generally flat to lower. Right? And then the third year up 17%, and then the fourth year on average up 11%. So if we go a little bit further here, you'll see here that even though that might happen, the earnings per year, the earnings for the S&P per year from 1970 to 24 has the second year being higher than all the other years. Because generally, the idea is that generally the focus for the administration is to get money into the economy, to get businesses going, to get job growth, to get money into the hands of people, which will then can translate into them spending more, and that's showing up as earnings for companies, but that the actual earnings, the price of the stocks in general don't necessarily rise, which is what we want. Peter, this is like, if this happens, I'm actually pretty optimistic because it means that the focus will be towards creating things, productivity, a restructuring of how institutions work and what people's expectations are from the economy, and not like, oh, you basically have to buy the market or else you're just going to be completely left behind. There's a chance that we're headed into something that's more growth oriented, at least for the next year.
So you don't think we're heading into World War III?
Oh,
I mean, optimistic.
world wars generate hella growth.
Do they?
I don't know. I'm just saying that. It just
No, I don't think they do.
sensationalistic.
When you
No.
recover from the war, maybe, but not during the war.
Well,
Because silver's going up, gold's going up. I've heard from some people who shall not be named, Tucker Carlson, that maybe those are signs that things are not going so well.
Well, fair enough. Actually, let's hear a little bit from Tucker Carlson. I'm not partisan here, especially on After Hours, but I heard something from Tucker Carlson I don't normally hear. And in fact, I haven't heard from anyone, and I've been waiting to hear from somebody, and I can't believe it came out of his lips. And this is where he talks about the American empire. So let's take a quick listen. Why this matters is because it'll change your trading style. It'll change your long-term investment ideas if you buy into it over the next 5 to 10 years. Let's have a listen.
While you load that up, this made me kind of bring back to the forefront of my mind the fourth turning, something that I know is very popular in trading spaces, this idea of a crisis that is due. And I thought maybe COVID was the crisis, but we didn't see the complete rejiggering of the economy. Like I think a fourth turning crisis is supposed to turn. So maybe this ties into that.
Yeah, the crisis-tunity. Absolutely.
Crisis-tunity.
It feels like we've had enough crisis, from the global financial crisis to Brexit to wars to COVID collapse, but it turns out those are all practice crises
Right.
for the big crisis. So put on your britches, folks. We're going to war. All right, let's hear what he has to say here. Oops.
What happened a few days ago in Venezuela is not just a big surprise to people who are watching it. It's not just a kind of exciting foreign policy story. It is the effectively announcement by the U.S. government that our system is changing, that we are now explicitly an empire. We're an empire. So, of course, the argument has been made, and probably there's some truth to it. The United States has been an empire for a long time, for at least the last 80 years, since 1945, when we emerged victorious from World War II, or maybe even 1918, when the British Empire effectively ended, maybe even 1898, when we got Puerto Rico, and then a few years later, Cuba from the Spanish Empire. So you could argue that the United States, like all big, prosperous countries, inevitably became an empire. But the difference between the last 120 years and earlier this week is that we never before admitted it, and now we are. So every time we've gone into foreign countries in Latin America, but not just Latin America, really around the world, there has been a pretext for that, usually about human rights or democracy. We're not going to put up with this or that government treating its people this way, and we have to go in to stop the tyranny because we are a force for openness and freedom. And there's been some truth in that, of course. But behind that has been the calculation behind every big foreign policy move made by every big country. How is this good for us? Whether it's propping up the dollar or getting access to resources, there's always another reason that we're doing it. And people who are paying close attention know that. Of course, one of the reasons that American troops have been clustered around the Middle East for as long as they have been is not just the Israeli lobby. It's because there's an awful lot of energy in the Middle East, oil and gas, and that's important to our country. So, of course, we have a stake in making sure it can be extracted and moved around the world, obviously. But what makes what happened in Venezuela, taking the head of state out of the presidential palace with Delta Force and bringing him to New York and putting him on trial, what makes that so very different from, say, I don't know, pick one, killing Mossadegh in 1953 in Iran or whatever, is that the U.S. government, the president of the United States, basically just said, we're doing this because of the resources. Venezuela has the largest proven oil reserve in the world. It's in our...
All right, so you get the idea there, right? The idea there is that Donald Trump has been coming out and saying, we want your oil, we need your minerals, and we're going to come get it.
But
And
I
he
heard,
is.
and I thought I heard Mike say this, that the oil that's in Venezuela is not the good stuff. You know, it's like the dirty stuff that has to be sent and brought back.
Yeah, but that's not what matters.
Hmm.
What matters is the policy of this administration in year 2 is, hey, let's turn up the stuff. We need to get more of these pieces on the risk board, even if it's for a 20-year plan. If that's the stated idea, that now we're in empire mode, it's the thing I've been waiting for a long time now. This idea that, you know, the United States will just let go of this cute thing of being a republic, and we get to the imperialness of time to be an empire. All right. And Caesar will be whoever comes next. Let's give the reins to Gavin Newsom or Trump Jr. I don't know. But if this is going to be a policy shift, well, this changes our investment styles now for the next 15, 20 years. The first turning, the next 20 years is going to be real different if this baton is picked up by all the other administrations, which is what I find interesting.
Right. Yeah. Looking to the future, both you're looking at the tech, AI, looking at crypto. Well, maybe not crypto right now. You're looking at the market and politics, and you're like, who can predict the future now? I remember looking at the world 20 years ago and listening to authorities. They seem to have a pretty good handle on what was coming our way. But now you're looking at it and you're like, is there anybody who knows? And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I know uncertainty, can lead to opportunity. There's the big dogs didn't co-opt the space, but I don't know. I don't know if this is an opportunity for us, or not knowing just creates these blind spots that allow us to self-destruct in ways that are, surprising.
Well, I've always liked for me, this fourth turning has felt like this is a Calvin Hobbes strip that I always imagine, I always think of, because it's exactly what I imagine life is right now for us. So at 35,000 feet, the engines of Flight 430 explode for no reason. This is Calvin pretending with toys. With plumes of dense smoke trailing from the wings, the giant aircraft plummets out of control. Meanwhile, a 50-car freight train hits a penny on the rail at 80 miles an hour and jumps the tracks, dragging 500,000 tons of metal into the air behind it. So we were on the first part, we had, the dot-com crisis. Then we have the global financial crisis. Next up, we got COVID. In a freak coincidence, both the jet and the train are converging on one spot where tectonic plates in the Earth's crust have begun to shift. And that spot is the house of Farmer Trump, who at this moment is unaware of a gas leak as he attempts to light the stove. As he strikes the match, he casually glances out the kitchen window. His eye twitches involuntarily. And me, as Hobbs on the right, can we play something else? So we're talking about these convergences. The next one here for me is wait 1 second. This guy. All right, you mentioned this today in our meeting, Peter. This is Tailwind.
So
very
sad.
popular. I know.
So sad.
A very popular tool for coders and designers to make websites and apps and stuff like that. And this is a post from Adam Wathan. I think he's the head of Tailwind, and he goes, basically this post from Santiago on X says Tailwind laid off 75% of the team. At the time, Tailwind was more popular than ever. Their revenue was down close to 80%. Revenue down 80%. Large language models did this, or as you might know this, Peter, AI. If we don't figure this out, we'll end up with a massive graveyard of abandonware. So this is a post from Adam Wathan, which is just so sad. I totally see the value in the feature, and I would like to find a way to add to it. He's responding to a thread. And he goes, but the reality is that 75% of the people on our engineering team lost their jobs here yesterday, because of the brutal impact of AI has had on our business. Yeah, go ahead.
And every second I spend trying to do fun, free things for the community like this is a second I'm not spending trying to turn the business around and make sure the people who are still here are getting their paychecks every month. Traffic to our docks is down about 40% from early 2023, despite Tailwind being more popular than ever. The docks are the only way people find out about our commercial products, and without customers, we can't afford to maintain the framework. I really want to figure out a way to offer LLM optimized docs that don't make that situation even worse. Again, we literally had to lay off 75% of the team yesterday, but I can't prioritize it right now. Unfortunately, I'm nervous to offer them without solving that problem first.
That's right. So the idea here is that existing systems in all kinds of different ways. If it's a 60-40 portfolio, if it's educational systems in school, if it's existing companies, if it's financing systems, all these things are just being absolutely uprooted and upended. And I'm excited on one end because it means that the future is now ours to build. We can build something new. But people who have been used to the system as it is and are not adapted to these new changes, what are you going to do? I mean, you're going to start your own business, tariffs comes online, and all of a sudden now you have to move your supply chain from China to India and then back to China again as that changes, and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. You want to do global trade, but the synchronization of the systems aren't the same. So, things from Europe and things from Africa and things from China, these things they're no longer in the same system anymore. It's very hard. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to move to another country. And like, I don't know, what country do you move to? Where are you going to go? You have all kinds of videos of people regretting leaving. They don't know what's going on. It's turmoil all over the place. And so I look at a thing like this, and part of me goes, okay, brutal. I mean, I can't believe I incarnated at a time like this. What did I choose? What did my oversoul see in this moment that it wants to live through all this?
It's exciting, I guess.
I certainly didn't come for the, Stranger Things finale.
Don't tell me. No, don't tell me. No spoilers.
I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But then on the other side, I go, oh my God, Peter, the opportunities.
Yep.
If we can figure out what's actually working, that it looks like we're favoring growth, a new type of growth, a whole new type of way. Look at robotics, look at AI, look at new financial systems, look at crypto. These things are going to converge into something new in the future because they're solving a problem, and that problem is now for sure. Those 75% of people on Tailwind who are gone, they got to go find something else, Peter, because they can't expect to be hired by some other competitor, because that other competitor is going to have the same problem. They got to do something new.
Well,
Brand
they
new.
can now because of the tools. That's the thing, right? You
Right.
get thrown out of the plane going, hey, we got no more room on the plane, but everyone has a parachute. If you can learn how to open that thing, if you have some skill, if you have some creativity, you can build something yourself. Now, that's not as easy as going to get a job, and not everybody could be an entrepreneur and do their own things. I know that. But maybe instead of having big companies hiring lots of people, we'll have smaller companies hiring fewer people, but more of them. So we're in this transitional period. I'm listening to an interview, not an interview, but a podcast with Elon Musk, Peter Diamandis, and I forget who the third guy was, but they were talking about universal high income, which is, I mean, that was not on my bingo card. Maybe that will be coming sooner than we expect, because it's one thing when, the lower class loses their jobs, but when the upper class or the white collar people, they start losing their jobs en masse, help must be on the way. At least I hope so.
Well, in a moment, we're going to end off with a trade that I'm not even sure how good I feel about it, because it makes me feel icky and yucky. But, if you can make a lot of money, it's sort of like, what do you do?
Wow.
But before we get to there, a quick word from our sponsor.
Looking for a prop firm that actually plays nice with automation? Meet Blue Sky, built for serious traders. And with Traders Post, it just clicks. You connect Blue Sky inside Traders Post, route your TradingView signals to paper or funded accounts, and let it auto-manage entries, stops, and targets. You control risk per trade, filter by session and symbol, and pause or resume with a single switch. Every fill is easy to review in one dashboard. Funded accounts can request payouts daily with launch plans starting at $49. Get funded with Blue Sky. Execute with Traders Post. Apply today at bluesky.pro, BLUSKY.pro, and plug in your edge. Trading involves risk. Use proper risk management.
And a reminder to everyone that if you use code WELCOME26 with your Blue Sky account, if you're a first-time user and it's your first account, you can get a launch plan for 50% off. That's right. WELCOME26 is the code to use on the bluesky.pro website. Peter.
What is this icky trade that you're talking about?
So I heard about this sort of trade that you can do previously. Like, I have a problem when a country is going to, is at war, or there's people dying and suffering. Like, the idea of making money off of that in any way makes me feel bad. So buying defense contractors, buying weapons manufacturers, I just find that difficult. The reason I even had trouble with Palantir, AI solution it's ripping like crazy, but you work with the government and the military industrial complex, so I just feel a little bit weird about it. But I think I can get over that.
Okay.
Because who was talking about it? It's sort of like, I'm not the one promoting the thing, and people are making the money anyway. It might as well be me. That's the sort of mentality that I have. I know. Not going to soothe me to bed at night, but a 2,000 thread count on my sheets might, and I can't afford that.
2,000.
That's not the money. So Venezuela, wasn't on my bingo card that Venezuela might be in raptured. The door might be raptured by the United States in order to stand trial in the States. So I go, okay, what other crazy once in a lifetime things are going to happen, and how do I bet on it? Right? Well, I guess Kim Carlson was the one who was talking about this idea that Venezuela would happen, and he had this whole list of other things that might occur. And one on that list is China invading Taiwan.
Yeah.
Now, what if I were to tell you you can get 6x return if they do? So I was like, okay, let me see. I go on Polymarket. I pull up the markets. They have a market here. If they invade by March 31st, you have a 4% chance that actually happens. By June 30th, a 7% chance, 8% chance, and December 31st of this year, 13% chance. These are great odds, Peter. And if I fed that to AI and had a conversation about it, and I said, hey, if I had $1,000 to bet, I have $1,000 to allocate to this thing, and China does invade Taiwan, what would be my return? Well, if they invade it by March 31st, you make 7 $7,000. By June, $7,000. By December, $6,000. No invasion, you just lose $1,000. Well, I lose $1,000 all the time, and if something like this could happen, sort of like, I'm like, let me just get the money and then use some of that money in order to help people who might be in need.
I mean, that doesn't look like too outsized. Like
No,
1,000
not too outsized, but you put that
aren't there
money down
safer
and it's
bets?
like,
Aren't there safer bets? Like silver
yes,
right
yes,
now?
Peter, we're here so people can find their ways of doing it. You could even make this amount of money just trading the odds on it. You don't even have to hold it to the end of the year. You can just trade the odds up and down as military conflicts go up and down. I'm just like, how do we got to, the only way to survive this
I get it.
turning, Peter, this conflict is we got to make money. We have to make money. I don't know any other way to survive. It's how we got through COVID.
That's
Right?
true.
If you didn't have any money, you suffered greatly. And luckily, we weren't in that situation. And so I don't want to be in that situation for the next one. If World War III is coming around the corner and I can't do anything to stop it, I might as well profit from it. Saying it, I hear myself saying it. But the markets are not going to disappear just because I'm not, I feel squeamish about it. All right, Peter, that's what I wanted to say. I just wanted to bring that out to make it said. Why? Because if there is an invasion, at least there, oh God, there's a silver lining that at least some people would admit. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Markets are a weird thing. Markets are a strange thing. Some people feel comfortable betting on interest rates going to zero because of a deflationary event, and other people will bet on war. So I don't know.
Look, we talked about taking your feelings out of trading, right? And that's not only for being tilt proof. It's also, I think, about making smart decisions, logical decisions, regardless of how you feel about it.
Well, this to me feels like betting on a dogfight.
Well, it's not quite
an underground. Well, that's what it feels like to me. It's not that. Like, I get it.
Yeah, it's not that.
It's not that.
Like, if there was a website where you can bet on your friends' marriage and if they'll get divorced or not, then it'd be kind of like that. You're welcome.
Peter,
you're welcome.
Amazing idea.
You're welcome.
I'm vibe coding that real hard. What do you call something like that?
Poly.
Sure. Yeah, that's a crazy one. Yeah, I'll bet on that. All right. That's it for our show today. Thank you so much for watching. Peter, we're here all the time. There's content almost every day of the week except on Monday for Traders Pulse, because we're here to try to make your life better, make you a better trader, and put more money in your pocket through your own efforts, but money in your own pocket. So on Tuesday to Friday, you get to see Mike and I trade live on Price Action Live from 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time using Traders Pulse, the most advanced trade execution engine known to man. I don't know how we trade without it. It's been a lifesaver. On Tuesdays, on office hours, you can have Peter here hosting, letting you know of the new features and upgrades being added to the system. So you want to get in right away, because we take your feedback. And if there's something that'll make your life easier integrated on our platform, we want to hear about it. On Thursdays, we do Blueprint, where we go over tools and strategies and indicators that we create or find for you. And of course, on Fridays, we do After Hours, where we go over markets for the week past.
Just want to let everybody know we're making a big push. Most people don't know we have indicators, free indicators on the Traders Pulse website. So if you go into Traders Pulse dashboard, even a free account, click on accounts and then indicators, you too can get access to the indicators that are created from Blueprint. So just want to remind everybody that that's there, and go ahead and get that. Aventura Trader Tom says in the chat, thank you guys. I needed this. I don't know what's going on with you there, Aventura, but I'm so glad we were able to help you a little bit today. A little distraction. It'll feel good. Appreciate it. Hang in there, buddy. It gets better. At least that's what.
Well, that's how I feel about his Twitter account. If you don't follow Aventura on X, I love his posts. It also
they make me laugh all the time.
Makes me laugh, makes me dream. I very much appreciate it.
I don't know where he finds those gifs or whatever, but they're pretty funny. Some of them are scandalous, though. I'll tell you that.
Right. Yeah. Totally.
Sometimes I have to watch. I have to open up my X because he's like usually the first one that shows up, and I have to like make sure my partner doesn't see it. You know, she'd be like, "What was that? What was that picture?"
Well, my X account, the algorithm is like, Ventura is the account you engage with the most. So we're going to show you every one of these posts. Okay. Yeah, they're great.
Awesome.
All right. All right. We'll be back next week. And as always, we wish you happy trading.